The modern business is really caught in a tug of war. On one hand, the cloud gives us this incredible speed to collaborate and innovate, but on the other, it creates this massive, sprawling universe of information, and with it, a ton of liability. For years, we all relied on something called data loss prevention, or DLP. But let's be honest, that old lock is broken. The game has totally changed. Today, visibility is the new DLP.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We've spent literally decades building bigger and better walls to secure the network perimeter. But the whole time, the most critical vulnerability has been the information itself, kind of hiding in plain sight.
So to really understand why we need a totally new approach, we've got to pull back the curtain and look at the dangerous blind spots in our traditional security methods.
And this right here really breaks down the core difference. On the left, you've got traditional security. It uses these rigid, rule-based patterns called regular expressions, or regex. Think of it like a bouncer with a super specific checklist. If your name's not on the list, you're not getting in. But over on the right, you have information intelligence, which uses AI to understand context, much more like how a human brain actually works.
Now, that old rule-based way of doing things has a couple of critical failures. First, there's this constant regulatory lag. It's always playing catch-up with new privacy laws like GDPR and HIPAA. But honestly, the second failure is the big one, a severely limited scope. See, it's great at finding things that look exactly like a social security number or a credit card number, but it is completely blind to the real crown jewels, your legal contracts, your confidential board meeting minutes, your financial forecasts. It just can't see them.
And this is what it all boils down to. I mean, if your security tools can't even see your most critical assets, how can they possibly protect them? It's impossible. You're just flying blind.
All right, so enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. It's a whole new standard for data protection, and it's built from the ground up on one thing: visibility.
At the heart of this new standard is a technology called autonomous information intelligence. Now, it's not just about matching patterns anymore. It uses AI to mimic how a person would actually understand a document, reading it for context and for meaning. And this lets it classify all kinds of information with incredible nuance.
And you can see that happening right here. The AI is working on its own, detecting and classifying that critical business information, the exact same stuff that traditional regex completely misses.
Honestly, this is the perfect way to think about it. If traditional DLP is like fumbling around in a dark room, just hoping you don't trip over something valuable, this new approach is like walking in and flipping on the lights. Suddenly, you can see absolutely everything, crystal clear. And once those lights are on, you get 3 huge benefits. First, the scope of your protection broadens dramatically. Second, your accuracy just skyrockets, saving your security teams hundreds of hours of manual work. And third, you can finally start proactively hunting for risks, like spotting insider threats or accidental oversharing before it ever turns into a breach.
Okay, so having this kind of visibility isn't just some nice-to-have feature. It is absolutely essential for fighting the complex, modern threats that our older systems were just never, ever designed to handle.
And the biggest new threat out there is something called shadow AI. Now, if you remember the term shadow IT from about a decade ago, when employees started using things like Dropbox or Slack without approval, well, this is the exact same pattern. Your employees are using public AI tools for work, and they're often doing it without any IT oversight at all.
And here is why that is so terrifying. A staggering 57% of employees using these tools admit to pasting sensitive company data right into them. Just let that sink in for a second. Your company's intellectual property, your secret financial models, all being fed into a public third-party AI.
So the only way to really govern this is with a layered defense. It has to start at the foundation, classifying your data before it ever gets near an AI. From there, you can control what users are asking the AI, and you can monitor the AI's responses to make sure nothing sensitive leaks out.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. Because having all this intelligence is fantastic, but at the end of the day, it has to lead to real, actual, automated protection.
This is really where the magic happens. All that intelligence acts as an optimization engine for the security tools you probably already use, like Microsoft Purview. It automates the heavy lifting of classification and labeling, so your existing tools can finally enforce policies the right way, and automatically, slashing all that manual work and human error.
And this right here is the real payoff. It lets you finally answer those tough questions your board and your C-suite are always asking. When they ask, how secure are our legal assets, you can tell them the exact number and their current exposure level.
When they ask, "Are we getting a return on our security investment?" you can actually show them the reduction in manual hours. It translates all that technical data into real business value.
So it really all comes down to this one question. Is your security program still just guarding one gate with an outdated checklist, or have you finally turned on the lights to see, to understand, and to protect everything you have?
Thank you so much for joining me. And remember, less risk, clean compliance, faster AI adoption. Cognni, autonomous data governance. Book a demo to see it live.